My beloved child, I am calling you into this specific moment right now. I need you to pause everything else. Silence the noise around you and listen, because what you are about to hear is not just a message. It is a revelation that is going to confront your delays, reframe your disappointments, and expose the hidden purpose behind every single path you have questioned. This is the unveiling of something divine that has been moving beneath the surface of your life for years. You must understand that this is not a coincidence. This is a confirmation. You have walked into a divine setup, and I am the one who arranged every step to get you here. I know the questions you have whispered in the dark, asking why you are here, why now, and why it had to be you. I have waited until this precise second to answer you, not with human logic, but with supernatural clarity. I am going to take you back through what you called failure and show you how I called it a foundation. I am going to reveal that nothing was wasted, not the tears, not the silence, and not even the places you thought were detours, but they were actually designs. If this word is for you, stop scrolling now and type "I'm listening." Or tap the heart. Let heaven know you're ready to receive. You are not off track. You are exactly where I meant for you to be. But listen closely to me. If you walk away before this word finishes, you may miss the very key I ordained to unlock your next season. If you skip this, if you scroll past, you risk leaving the throne room, just as I am about to hand you your mantle. This message carries your alignment, your assignment, and your breakthrough. Every second is intentional, and every word is heaven-sent. I have placed my power in every sentence to confront, comfort, and commission you all at once. So stay with me. Do not just hear, receive. Do not just watch, respond. Do not let the enemy steal what I orchestrated to restore you. I am uncovering things hidden in plain sight, lifting the veil to reveal that what you thought was random is actually royal. This is your moment, your word, and your divine setup. Lean in now. If you're committed to receive, type "I receive" or hit like. Anchor this moment in your spirit. Slow your breath and lean in, letting my presence surround you like the hush before dawn. I want you to understand something sacred. This moment you are standing in is no accident. Long before your name was whispered by human lips, I traced the journey your feet would take and ordained the very soil you now walk upon. I placed stars in the sky to light your night, not simply as beauty, but as signs that I have always been arranging everything for your good. You did not drift here on random winds. I carried you. I ordered your delays, your oaths, and your pauses, designing them with precision. The very detours that made you question me were blueprints etched in eternity. Every time you thought you stumbled, I steadied your ankle. Every door that closed, I sealed it to redirect you to a better one I carved open just for you. Lift your head and remember this truth. You have never been lost. You were being led even when you felt blindfolded by confusion. I was guiding you with a hand stronger than fate and more tender than you have ever known. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this now with one person who needs to hear it. Send it, tag them, or pass it on. You thought it was chaos, but I was composing a divine symphony from your missteps. What felt like silence was strategy. What looked like failure was preparation. What seemed forgotten was actually intentionally sacred. I wove your childhood tears into threads of wisdom, gathered your sleepless nights, and sealed them into the pages of a greater story. Pause now and hear me clearly. I have orchestrated your arrival here, not in shame or defeat, but in power. You are not here by human arrangement. You have walked into a divine setup. Let that truth fall heavy on your heart and set you free. I appointed this very hour for your awakening, synchronizing moments that didn't make sense to your natural mind because I was working in supernatural layers, weaving heaven's timing into your timeline. Remember that moment you almost gave up? I was right there. I caught the pieces of your heart before they hit the floor and turned your sigh into a sacred signal to move heaven on your behalf. I was not just watching, I was intervening. I was sending whispers into the right hearts, aligning strangers to meet you with favor, and shifting the earth beneath your feet to position you closer to your purpose. So now, walk boldly, take authority over your thoughts, and rebuke the lie that says you are behind. Reject the doubt that says you are unworthy. Stand in the confidence that where you are standing has been handcrafted by my sovereign will. I have set the stage for your next becoming, and no voice of man, no fear from your past, and no delay in the natural can undo what I have divinely aligned for you. Open your heart, my beloved, and receive this truth. The setup began before you ever cried your first cry. It was holy, it was intentional, and it was mine. You are not late. You are right on time for glory. So step forward into this design, lean into my orchestration, and trust the rhythm of my plan. Every heartbeat in you echoes a song I wrote long ago. You were never walking alone. You were walking into destiny, into a future that bears my fingerprints. Walk on, my child, for you are in the center of my divine setup. You have often looked at your life and asked, what is the meaning of all this? You have stared into the swirl of disappointments, misunderstandings, and broken moments, thinking, surely this cannot be from God. But listen to me now. Every thread of confusion that has surrounded you was not random. It was part of a hidden pattern, a heavenly design veiled in mystery. What you call chaos, I call construction. What you call a detour, I call divine direction. Do not mistake the fog for my absence. The fog was my covering. The haze you walk through wasn't abandonment. It was the veil of my glory wrapped around what I was building in secret until the time was right to reveal it. You were never outside of my reach, even when the doors slammed shut, when relationships crumbled, and when it felt like every step forward unraveled into a stumble. I was positioning you. I was moving things beneath the surface, aligning hearts, shifting timelines, and building connections that only eternity can explain. Stop interpreting your story through the lens of confusion and lift your eyes to see my hand behind the veil. I have been the architect all along, the one who drew up the blueprint when no one believed in you. I gave permission for certain losses to happen, not to destroy you, but to position you for a glory that could not be birthed in comfort. Come closer and let me reveal something to you. The conversations that went wrong, I let them scatter. The opportunities that disappeared right as you were about to receive them, I blew them away. The people who walked away and left you wondering what you did wrong, I released them. Why? Because their presence would have diluted your purpose. I removed what looked good to make space for what was ordained. You see backward, but I see eternally. I saw what you could not, and I covered what your natural eyes would misjudge. You thought you were being rejected, but I was protecting. You thought you were stuck, but I was stabilizing. Trust this now. I am not a God of coincidence. I am the God of alignment. Even when nothing seemed to make sense, I was still in control. So come out of that fog of self-doubt, shake off the dust of regret, and stop cursing your past. I was in the middle of it all. Every misstep you mourn is a mystery I authored for your maturing. Every delay you dreaded was divine incubation. Every season you thought you lost was a seedbed of transformation. Lift your head and walk with confidence. Declare it now. My life is not random. My story is not broken. My confusion is not wasted. You are walking in a blueprint the world cannot see, but I see it. I wrote it, and I am bringing it into fullness. Let go of needing to understand and lean into trusting the unseen. My plan is still intact, my will is still in motion, and you are not lost, you are being launched. If you trust me, realize you are standing in the middle of a miracle in disguise. My beloved, I saw every tear fall. Not one drop went unnoticed. You thought your cries disappeared into silence, but I collected them, bottled them, and anointed them. Your tears watered the very ground where your promise would bloom. Every ache, every wound, every night you whispered, God, why? I heard them all, and not 1 ounce of your pain was wasted. I permitted it not because I enjoyed your suffering, but because I knew what it would produce. I saw the boldness being born in the breaking. I saw the power being forged in your fire. You have walked through pain that could have destroyed you, but it didn't. Why? Because I was with you. I was in the valley, in the betrayal, in the diagnosis, the loneliness, and the rejection. Though you couldn't feel me, I was pressing closer than your breath. The pain didn't mean I abandoned you, it meant I was preparing you. I trusted you with that weight, because I knew what I planted inside of you would survive it. I trusted that the fire would not consume you, but purify you. If your tears mean something to you, type "He sees me" below and tag someone who stood with you. Let your testimony connect and heal. And now, listen carefully. What wounded you will become the wellspring of healing for others. The cracks you carry are not signs of weakness. They are openings for my glory to pour out. I will use your scars as sacred scrolls, testaments of my power that others will read and believe. Your brokenness was the birthplace of your calling. Your pain has not disqualified you, it has qualified you. You have asked why it had to hurt so much, but hear me. I use pain like a sculptor uses a chisel. I carve away the false identities, the pride, the fear, and the pretense until what is left reflects my likeness. Pain brought the humility I needed to elevate you. It built the endurance I needed to entrust you. In your lowest moments, when all you had left was a whisper of hope, you were never closer to me. I shaped you there. I anointed you there, and I turned your mourning into the oil of joy and your ashes into crowns of glory. So rise, wipe your face, take your place, and let the enemy know the one who was crushed now carries oil. The one who was wounded now walks in wonder. I have turned your affliction into authority and your sorrow into a sanctuary. Declare it now. My pain was not my prison, it was my positioning. I am not finished with you, my child. I am just beginning. Your pain was holy ground, and from it you will rise. You thought you were in the wrong place. Looking around at the emptiness, the obscurity, and the smallness, asking God, how could anything divine happen here? But hear me now. That field you wanted to flee was the very ground I chose to favor. I do not need palaces to place my anointing. I do not wait for stages to appoint destinies. I often hide my greatest moves in the fields no one watches. I trained David among sheep. I met Moses in the wilderness. And I met you right where you thought nothing good could grow. You questioned the people you met, the jobs that didn't fit, and the environments that made you uncomfortable. But I sent you there. I placed you in rooms that didn't recognize you yet, because I was preparing you, not promoting you. I allowed the hidden seasons to stretch your character. I buried you like a seed, not because I was done with you, but because I was about to grow you. Your roots needed depth before your name could carry weight. Remember those conversations that felt random? I orchestrated them. That stranger who offered encouragement was my angel in plain clothes. That mentor who showed up unexpectedly was sent by my spirit. That closed door you cried about was my redirection in disguise. I use what appears mundane to deliver the miraculous. I hide divine strategy in ordinary interactions. You have walked past miracles thinking they were just moments. Look again. I have been working all along. Do not despise small places, and do not curse the ground you're standing on. Every unnoticed hour, every uncelebrated effort, every overlooked sacrifice, I saw it and I will reward it. I don't miss anything done in secret. In fact, I favor what is done in secret. I reward what is done in obedience, not applause. Hold fast, my child. Keep showing up, keep tending sheep, keep praying behind the scenes, because even now I am arranging divine appointments for your elevation. You don't need to manipulate anything. What is for you is coming. You are one divine encounter away from everything shifting. Stay ready. Stay faithful. I will make kings call your name while you are still in the field. I will send opportunities that find you in the low place and remind the world that I do my greatest work through the least expected. Say it now. This place is not a punishment, it is preparation. Because where others saw nothing, I planted everything. You are standing on holy ground, and I will meet you here. My beloved, you feared my silence. You mistook my quiet for distance and my stillness for absence. But listen to me now. I was never far. In the moments when you cried out and heard no reply, I was closer than breath, watching not from a distance, but from within. My silence was not neglect, it was sacred space. I was teaching you the language of trust, refining your spirit to hear me not only with your ears but with your heart. When I did not speak, I was inviting you to lean, not on words, but on me. You longed for direction, yet I gave you depth. You asked for answers, and I gave you endurance. You thought the silence was punishment, but it was preparation. I was stretching your faith so it could carry greater glory. The strength I was forging in you could not be born in noise. You had to walk through still waters to realize I was your shepherd. You had to feel alone so you could recognize my presence as your anchor, not your emotion. Don't you see? I was watching you when the world turned its face and the heavens seemed sealed. I observed your response to silence. I saw how you kept praying when nothing changed. I saw you press your forehead into your folded hands, whispering my name through tears. That trust, that raw, unshaken faith, reached me. It was louder than any worship shouted from mountaintops. It was pure, and I honored it. Now lift your head and hear me with clarity. My silence spoke of the trust I had in you. I withheld answers not to torment, but to train. I knew you would emerge deeper, wiser, and unshakable. I knew the silence would birth in you a knowing that no storm could steal. I knew you would learn that my voice is not always thunder. It is often the breeze that brushes your soul in stillness. When I didn't answer, it was because I was letting your spirit grow into a greater capacity for me. Embrace what the silence built in you. Walk in the wisdom it carved into your bones. You are no longer just someone who believes. I have made you someone who knows. You know I am faithful. You know I am present. You know I never leave even when I'm quiet. That knowledge is a weapon, and it will serve you in every season to come. So now, let go of the fear that I was ever absent. I was hidden, not gone. I was working, not ignoring. I was preparing a word so heavy with glory that your ears had to be matured before they could carry its weight. And now my voice returns, not just to speak, but to echo in your every step. You are no longer just listening. You are living my word. My child, don't turn away now. You have heard my whisper in the silence. Will you walk away while I am still speaking? My heart is open before you. And if you stop here, you'll miss the sacred unraveling I prepared just for you. I have waited so long to bring you this close. Don't grieve my spirit by leaving when we have just begun to touch what is eternal. There is more I must reveal to you. You have been through wars that left you breathless. Moments that felt like defeat carved shadows across your soul. You looked at the wreckage and wondered, God, where were you? But hear me now and let truth strike deeper than regret. You never fought alone. What looked like loss was a hidden advance. What felt like failure was a divine feint. A move so masterful your enemy didn't even see it coming. I allowed you to fall, not into ruin, but into repositioning. Every clash you survived was an altar of transformation. The battles that wore you down were the very grounds where I armed you. You thought you were overpowered, but I was overpowering the pride, the fear, and the illusion of control that kept you bound. I let you taste defeat not to shame you, but to humble you for greater authority. I let you weep on the battlefield so you would learn to wage war from the secret place. Your falls became footstools. Your losses became leverage. The fight refined what comfort never could. Do you remember the prayers you cried in the dark? I did not ignore them. I answered them with fire. You asked for strength, so I sent struggle. You asked for glory, so I allowed pressure. I equipped you not with ease, but with endurance. And now you carry more than wounds, you carry wisdom. You are not marked by the fight, you are defined by the one who rose after it. Look again at what you called defeat. What did it cost you? Yes, much. But what did it birth in you? Resolve, discernment, and an intimacy with me that no comfort could produce. You no longer react, you respond with clarity. You don't panic, you pray. You don't retreat, you release. That is victory, my child. You didn't lose, you leveled up. Now stand in the truth. I allowed the enemy to come close so you would learn how to fight from within, not in your strength, but in mine. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I stripped away your confidence in systems, in people, in yourself, and I rebuilt you on me. And now, you are unshakable. So silence the voice that says you failed. Rebuke the lie that you missed your moment. Take up your sword again. Your battle scars are not symbols of weakness. They are proof you survived what others could not. I am raising you up, not in spite of your battles, but because of them. What took others out made you mighty. You are not defeated, you are distinguished. And every loss, every bruise, every tear is now anointed. You were not outnumbered, you were outmatched for elevation. And you are rising. My precious one, there were moments when you thought you were just having a conversation, passing by someone on a street, or just sitting at a table with an old friend. But I need you to look deeper. I need you to feel the shift, because what you called coincidence was an encounter, and what you thought was casual was kingdom-aligned. I have been sending heaven to you in human form again and again. That stranger who smiled at you when you were about to break was my messenger. The voice that told you not to give up right when despair was swallowing you whole. That was my answer through flesh. You didn't even know it, but you entertained angels unaware. I sent provision through people you always dismissed. I sent affirmation through voices you didn't expect. I wrapped my words in human lips and whispered eternity through the natural, because I love hiding glory in places where only faith can recognize it. I placed you in rooms where you didn't feel qualified, not to embarrass you, but to reveal that your access was never about merit, but about mantle. You walked through doors you didn't knock on because I spoke your name in places you couldn't see. I moved hearts toward you, softened the hardest faces, and prompted people to favor you before you ever arrived. And when you were ready to give up on relationships, I was cultivating divine ones just beyond your view. So do not disregard the ordinary. I often wrap miracles in the mundane. I place healing in a handshake. I deliver revelation in a phone call. I answer your prayers in the embrace of someone who simply says, "You were on my heart." That wasn't just kindness. It was kingdom strategy. I want you to begin watching with new eyes. Listen with your spirit. I am still sending voices to confirm what you have heard in private. I am still releasing answers through people you barely notice. Begin to bless every interaction. Begin to ask me, "Lord, is this from you?" And I will show you. I will stir your spirit to know who carries my breath. Let me remind you, your provision isn't only in heaven, it walks among you in human form. I move through those you least expect, bringing wealth and wisdom from unlikely mouths. I wrap eternal answers in temporal garments. And if you'll slow down, if you will pay attention, you'll realize I've been surrounding you with kingdom connections all along. The encounters you need have already begun. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. I am aligning conversations, meetings, and reconnections divinely timed, eternally prepared. Get ready, my child. This is the season where destiny walks into your living room wearing ordinary clothes, and this time, you'll recognize it. You have asked me, "When, Lord?" You have watched the calendar flip, the clock tick, and your prayers hang in the air like unanswered songs. You felt buried beneath delay and wondered if I forgot your name. But hear me now. What you call delay, I have always called development. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The wait was never a void. It was a womb. In that sacred pause, I was forming something eternal. Your waiting room was not a wasteland. It was a holy chamber where your roots deepened and your discernment sharpened. I placed you there not to withhold, but to refine. The silence was the scalpel, and the stillness was the soil. While you were begging for movement, I was building muscle, emotional, spiritual, and eternal. You looked around and saw nothing shifting, but beneath the surface, I was rearranging everything. Listen closely. In the waiting, I separated what was temporary from what was eternal. I showed you what could be shaken and what would remain. I stripped the noise so you could hear me clearly. I took you out of the crowd so you could see your calling. You were not forgotten. You were being fortified. You didn't miss your moment. You were maturing into it. Let go of the bitterness that wrapped itself around your heart in those quiet years. Release the narrative that says, I passed you by. I have never passed you. I have walked with you slowly, intentionally, and lovingly through every hallway of stillness. I allowed the waiting not to waste your time, but to deepen your capacity. You are not who you used to be. You have grown. You have stretched. You have learned how to pray in silence, how to worship without results, and how to trust without answers. That is power. That is glory. That is the stuff of kings and priests. Now hear me, the time is shifting. The door is unlocking. The promise you have carried is moving into labor. But do not despise the time it took. Without that weight, the weight of this blessing would have crushed you. But now you are ready. Now your character has caught up to your calling. Now you are not just walking into fulfillment, you are becoming the kind of vessel that can carry it. So rise from your seat. Shake off the dust of impatience. Step forward, not with anxiety, but with authority. You are not behind. You are in rhythm with heaven. My child, your wait was a wonder in disguise. And now the curtain lifts. The answer comes, and what you receive will be greater than what you requested. This is your time. You stood before doors that refused to open. You knocked and nothing moved. You prayed and silence echoed back. You questioned your worth, your readiness, and your place in my plan. But my child, you were never denied. You were reserved. The doors that didn't open were never meant to. I closed them with my own hand to guide you to the ones I had designed exclusively for you. Here are doors man cannot build, paths no map reveals, and moments only I can orchestrate. I have crafted access points that defy logic. I have opened realms that were sealed for generations. And only now I am unlocking them for you. Not because of merit, but because of grace. Not because you earned them, but because I've ordained them. You see, while you were striving, I was speaking your name in rooms you never entered. While you were doubting your voice, I was appointing platforms you never applied for. I opened hearts before you arrived. I sent favor ahead of your footsteps. You thought you were chasing opportunity, but it was my favor chasing you. Come closer and understand this. You didn't need to force it. I never called you to manipulate doors. I called you to walk through the ones I swing wide. And now the hinges are turning. The time has come. You are about to step into what no man can take from you. Contracts, covenants, platforms, positions, they are unlocking because I breathe on them. No human key can open what I did not ordain, but when I open a door, no system, no opposition, no delay can stand in the way. Remember, your qualifications were never the currency of heaven. I use the unqualified to fulfill uncommon assignments. My anointing outranks credentials. My choice bypasses protocol. You are walking into places others dreamed of, not because you performed, but because you obeyed. That is what moved my hand. Let go of the striving. Abandon the self-doubt. Begin to move in confidence. Begin to declare, this door is mine because God gave it. Begin to expect alignment. Begin to walk like someone sent by heaven, because you are. I placed my seal on doors that you didn't even know existed, and now you will walk through them. Some will wonder why it opened for you. Let them wonder. I will vindicate you. I will glorify myself through you. And what I've opened, no voice can close. My child, the season of locked rooms has ended. Step forward now. You are standing before an open door. Walk in. You cried when it ended. You wept when the yes became a no. You questioned everything when the plans crumbled. And through trembling lips you asked, God, why would you let this happen? My beloved, what felt like disappointment was divine rescue. What you grieved, I removed, not to wound you, but to save you. You saw what was, I saw what would have been. I closed the door not out of cruelty, but compassion. Let me tell you what you couldn't see. That opportunity you begged me to bless would have buried you. That relationship you mourned was misaligned. That position you almost compromised yourself for would have stripped your peace. So I removed it. I allowed the unraveling because the threads you were clinging to couldn't carry your destiny. You weren't being punished, you were being redirected. You prayed for protection, and I answered, just not the way you expected. I protected your purpose at the cost of your preference. I chose your wholeness over your comfort. I selected a better yes in place of the one you begged for. And I know it hurt. I know you questioned my goodness. But in time, you'll see it was mercy, not malice. You will look back and thank me for what didn't happen. Disappointment was never the end of your story. It was a plot twist that saved the narrative. I rerouted your path, not because I was confused, but because I saw what was coming. I shielded you from attachments that would have suffocated your spirit. I interrupted what looked promising so you could inherit what was ordained. Lift your eyes. Let hope rise again. I am not finished. I am the God who restores what was lost with something greater. I am rebuilding what was broken with materials of heaven. I will show you why every no was sacred. I will bring you into rooms you didn't know to ask for. I will surround you with relationships that pour, not drain. I will crown you with purpose where pain once sat. So release the bitterness. Let go of the what-ifs. Mind, but don't make a monument out of disappointment. It was never your final chapter. It was a door, and it delivered you to alignment. You're not disqualified. You're being launched. Stand up from the ashes, dust off the shame, lift your voice, and declare, every closed door led me to the right one. I am redeeming every letdown. You will testify that what broke you blessed you. You didn't lose, you learned. And now you are ready. You see it now, don't you? Even the disappointments were divine setups crafted not to break you, but to bless you. And if this word lifted the weight off your spirit, imagine who else is still waiting to hear me say, that closed door was my mercy. If you're moved by this word and want a partner to reach others, every super thanks, membership, or offering through the PayPal link below seeds another life. Click now and sow with expectancy. My child, when you give, you don't just support a video, you become a vessel through which I reach another soul in the midnight hour. Every super thanks, every membership, every offering you pour out through the PayPal link below is a seed of restoration in someone else's wilderness. I told you to give, and it will be given to you, and I will not let that word return void. You have prayed, Lord, use me, and this is how I am answering you now. So move with me. Plant light into the darkness. Let your gift flow like oil from the altar. Click, give, and partner with my heart. I will multiply it in ways no one can steal. If you leave now, you will walk away carrying only fragments of what I died to give you in fullness. You have tasted my mercy in your disappointments. Do not abandon the feast that's still being prepared. My presence is thick around you, and I long to complete what I've started to heal you entirely. Don't make me watch you walk away from a moment I designed to heal you entirely. Keep listening. My glory is just beginning to unfold. You made your plans with sincerity. You dreamed with diligence. You mapped out your future with hope in your heart and strategy in your hand. But then it happened, my interruption. The path you built began to crack beneath your feet. What once felt certain became fragile. A momentum you trusted suddenly turned to stillness. You called it inconvenience, you called it confusion, but I called it intervention. I stepped in not to dismantle your purpose, but to resurrect it. You were moving, yes, but you were drifting away from what I designed for you long ago. I could not allow your own ambition, no matter how noble, to eclipse the brilliance of what I destined. I didn't break your plans to leave you empty. I broke them to make room for something eternal. I interrupted because I love you too much to let you settle for survival when I created you for significance. You asked, why now? Why like this? Because this was the only way to shake loose what needed to fall. You were holding dreams I never authored, striving for doors I never opened, fighting battles I never called you to fight. So I stepped in. I realigned your steps, rerouted your momentum, and reset the coordinates of your future. You felt the tremor. You called it disruption. I called it divine course correction. Let go of the guilt you carry for what didn't work. You are not a failure. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. What seemed like an end was actually the pivot point of promise. I halted what was temporary so I could anchor you in what is timeless. I used interruption as an act of mercy, to protect your legacy, to preserve your purity, and to redirect your energy toward the eternal. Now listen closely. You're not starting over. You are starting fresh. You are stepping not into Plan B, but into my original design. I never needed your perfection. I only required your permission. And now that you've surrendered, I'm revealing what has been waiting behind the veil. Opportunities you never considered. People aligned by my spirit. Assignments that carry my fragrance. And encounters that will shift everything. So open your hands. Release what I removed. Stop resisting what I redirected. Say yes again, not to your plan, but to mine. The interruption was not the enemy's doing. It was my hand, my love, my guidance. I am with you, not in the illusion of control, but in the surrender that births power. Step forward now, not with fear, but with faith. The interruption was your invitation, and I am here to lead you forward into the greater thing. You were crushed beneath a weight you didn't ask for. Pain visited your doorstep, uninvited and relentless. The days blurred into nights, and you began to wonder if I had looked away. But I was there, not above your affliction, but within it. My presence didn't escape when your tears fell. I drew nearer. I placed my hand upon your chest when breath became a labor. I whispered strength into your bones when everything felt hollow. What you suffered was real, but it wasn't meaningless. It was sacred, because in the crushing, oil began to flow. The pressing you endured was not punishment. It was preparation. I was extracting the purest version of you, not the one shaped by applause, but the one forged by surrender. Affliction became your altar, and from it I drew a fragrance the world could not ignore. Understand this now. I trust the broken more than the proud. I anoint those who have wrestled in the dark and emerged with trembling faith still intact. I breathe my power upon the ones who have buried dreams yet kept their hearts open to resurrection. You became dangerous to the enemy the moment you chose worship in the fire, the moment you lifted your eyes instead of your fists. That is when heaven leaned in. That is when oil began to flow. You have asked me, why this path? Why this cost? Because your calling demanded weight, and I do not send light vessels to carry heavy glory. The deeper your groaning, the richer your oil, the greater your crushing, the wider your capacity. I allowed the fire to prove you, not to destroy, but to distinguish. What you carry now, you could not have carried before the pain. You were faithful in the furnace. And now I am releasing a mantle that could only rest upon the refined. You carry something sacred now. You walk with a knowing, not just that I am real, but that I am with you. You no longer quote me from memory. You speak me from experience. That is the anointing. That is what will cause chains to fall when you open your mouth. That is what will turn atmospheres when you walk into a room. I did not crush you in vain. I crowned you in the crushing. So rise. Let your scars speak. Let your voice shake darkness. Let your story release healing. You carry more than survival. You carry substance. You are anointed not because you were perfect, but because you were willing, because you stayed, because you bowed. The affliction ended, but the oil remains, and it will mark generations. You have wondered if your life was meant for more. You have asked me in the quiet, does any of this matter? As you folded laundry, answered emails, prepared meals, and sat in traffic, you felt invisible. But hear me now, and let this settle deep. I have never overlooked you. I have not ignored your labor. I have hidden glory in your ordinary. I have watched you with joy as you have poured out in silence, at the desk, at the sink, with the diaper, at the spreadsheet. Those were holy grounds. I do not separate the sacred from the simple. I weave eternity into the everyday. The throne room is not reserved for pulpits. It invades kitchens, sidewalks, commutes, and grocery aisles. My kingdom is not confined to the spectacular. It flourishes in secret. The greatest oil is not poured on stages, but in the still moments when you say yes with no one watching. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Let me reveal this to you. Every act of kindness, every unnoticed prayer, every moment of patience, every tear held back, every smile offered, it echoed in my courts. You were building legacy in those minutes you thought were meaningless. You were being trained for destiny as you navigated the mundane. I was shaping your spirit with each unseen yes. I was molding your faith as you did the same task for the 100th time without praise. Purpose is not always loud. Destiny does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks like doing the next right thing again and again until heaven says, now. You haven't missed anything. In fact, you've been in divine training all along. You are not buried. You are planted. And what has been growing in the hidden will soon bloom in full view. You have carried a holy assignment in your daily rhythms. You have hosted me in your silence. I have seen how you have chosen faithfulness over fame, and because of that, I am about to entrust you with more. Not to glorify you, but to glorify myself through you. The world will ask, where did this person come from? And I will answer, from the shadows, from the small, from the sacred mundane. So keep going, keep showing up, keep pouring out. Your kitchen table is a pulpit. Your quiet service is a sermon. Your home is a house of miracles. My eyes are on you. My favor is surrounding you, and your purpose has never been delayed. It's been dwelling among the ordinary, waiting for the appointed time to rise. My child, your days of obscurity have not been wasted. They have been consecrated. You are walking in purpose, one simple act of obedience at a time. And soon, all heaven will reveal what I've been building in secret. Your footsteps did not unlock your destiny. Your faith did. It wasn't your might that moved mountains. It wasn't your intellect that opened portals. It was your simple, raw, courageous belief that turned invisible promises into visible breakthroughs. You didn't know the full path, but you still stepped. You didn't have the full picture, but you still trusted my hand. That faith, flawed, flickering, yet unwavering in its core, activated what had been waiting for generations to unfold. You must understand, I do not respond to performance. I respond to belief. I do not move because of your perfection. I move because of your trust. You whispered yes through trembling lips, and I thundered forward with a divine setup heaven had held in reserve. Angels moved when you dared to believe me over your fear. Doors opened when you chose obedience over comfort. Nothing in the natural realm could have triggered what your unseen faith released. Do not minimize the power of your yes. When you surrendered, you rewrote timelines. When you believed, you aligned realms. When you acted even in small ways, I magnified that obedience into a divine movement. You didn't need influence, you didn't need applause, you only needed agreement, and you gave it quietly, purely, boldly. That agreement became the access point to everything I prepared in secret. There were times when faith felt foolish, when your logic screamed for evidence and your emotions begged for retreat, but still you moved. Still you trusted, and I counted every act of faith as currency in the unseen. You laid foundations with words you couldn't prove. You shifted atmospheres by walking when nothing looked open. And because of that, I honor you now, not as a servant, but as a partner in divine destiny. Faith was never meant to feel easy. It was meant to be transformative. It demands the surrender of certainty. It requires the death of control. But oh, how it resurrects purpose. Your faith reached into eternity and pulled manifestation into time. You must understand, I do not respond to performance. I respond to belief. You thought you lost too much. You counted the costs, the missed moments, the relationships that unraveled, and the seasons you labeled as waste. You wept over broken dreams and fractured timelines, mourning what could have been. But hear me now. Nothing that was taken has escaped my restoration. Nothing you surrendered has gone unnoticed. Nothing broken has exited my plan. I have woven restoration into the very blueprint of your destiny. I am not just the God who gives, I am the one who restores. And my restoration is not a return to the former, it is always greater. I rebuild with glory, I restore with interest. What you mourn, I have already redeemed. What was stolen, I have marked for return, and not just return, but overflow. You did not see it in the moment. The pain blinded you, the silence numbed you. But underneath the surface, I was already repairing, already rearranging, already renewing. I was collecting every shattered piece, cataloging every tear, recording every sigh. Nothing has been wasted. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every delay, they are seeds in my kingdom. And I do not forget the ground where my children sow in tears. You assumed the story had ended at the point of your greatest pain. But I am the author, and I do not close books in the middle of a redemptive arc. What I allow to fall, I always intend to raise. What I pruned, I always intend to cause to flourish. I make beauty from ashes, not hypothetically, but literally, practically, divinely. Lift your eyes now and see what I'm preparing. Restoration is not an idea, it is my nature. I am restoring your joy. I am restoring your voice. I am restoring your time. I am restoring your capacity to dream again. The losses of your past are becoming the leverage of your future. You are not just surviving, you are being positioned for a multiplied return. And know this, I restore on my terms, not man's. My timeline is perfect. My recompense is precise. My recompense is not just material, it is spiritual, emotional, relational, and generational. What you lost, I am redeeming across every area. Some of what I restore will not look like what you expected, but it will be better, fuller, eternal. So breathe deeply now. Let go of regret. Release the pressure to figure it all out. Restoration is my responsibility, not yours. Yours is to trust, to receive, to expect with confidence. You are not forgotten. You are being refilled. And this time, the cup will overflow, not to spill, but to sustain. What was once broken is becoming the foundation of glory. What was once lost is returning with fire, and what once hurt you will no longer haunt you. It will become your testimony. My child, the latter shall be greater. Restoration has already begun, and this too is part of your divine setup. This is not the time to drift. My hands are still mending, still restoring what you thought was gone forever. If you stop now, you forfeit the portion of healing that only comes through endurance. Don't hurt my heart by walking away before I've crowned your surrender. I'm not finished. Your story isn't done. Let me carry you the rest of the way. Let me show you the restoration I wrote with your name in fire. You have tried to explain how it happened. You have rehearsed your qualifications. You second-guessed the favor resting on your life because it didn't follow the rules. But I tell you now, what is happening to you cannot be measured by metrics or explained by logic. It is divine. It is favor. It is the fingerprint of heaven upon your earthly walk. I elevated you in spaces you didn't lobby to enter. I blessed you beyond the resume you held in trembling hands. I opened the mouths of men to speak on your behalf, not because of strategy, but because of sovereignty. You didn't network your way into this. You trusted your way into it. And I responded not with what you deserved, but with what I decided. Favor is not a formula. It is the fruit of alignment. You aligned with my heart. You obeyed when no one was watching. You chose purity when compromise knocked at your door. You stayed hidden when ambition said step forward. And because of that, I am lifting you, not to elevate your name, but to establish my will through you. Stop trying to shrink the magnitude of my favor to fit human understanding. This is not promotion, it is placement. This is not advancement, it is assignment. I have placed you as a sign. You are not in this position by accident. You are in it because my purposes required your voice, your hands, your heart. And though others may question your right to be there, I have already established your place. Walk in confidence. You do not need to apologize for my hand. You do not need to explain every open door. Simply honor me with your posture. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay holy. Favor rests where obedience flows. And you, my child, have been obedient when it cost you, when it hurt, when it made no sense. So now you will reap what logic cannot offer. You will walk in spaces where the rules don't apply. You will be a living contradiction to human systems. They will ask, "How did you get here?" And you will respond, "By His favor." Not just a phrase, but a reality. I write my own laws, I raise the lowly, I seat the surrendered among kings, and I am doing that through you. Don't shrink, don't dim, don't defer. Walk boldly, speak clearly, serve deeply. This is my favor in motion. This is divine alignment. This is what happens when obedience meets my overwhelming kindness. My child, you are not lucky. You are chosen. You are not random. You are appointed. Favor rests upon you, and it will not be removed. You did not stumble into the relationships that altered your life. You did not randomly cross paths with the voices that healed you, corrected you, lifted you. I orchestrated it all. From eternity, I traced connection points across your journey. I knew which hearts to align, which minds to spark, which voices to echo in your spirit at the exact moment your soul would need it most. You thought you were simply meeting people, but you were encountering strategies written in the scroll of heaven. There are no coincidences in my kingdom. Every divine relationship has an assignment. Every covenant has a code written before time. The friend who prayed for you in your weakest hour was not just kind, they were sent. The mentor who spoke wisdom you never shared out loud wasn't just insightful, they were appointed. I wrote them into your life not to entertain you, but to activate purpose within you. They were bridges, not barriers. Keys, not distractions. I assigned people to you before you ever knew you needed them. Some arrived quietly, others came through storms, some stayed for a season, others remained for life. But every one of them carried a piece of what you were missing. And you carried something in you that they needed too. I wove destiny through their words, their timing, their presence. You didn't need the crowd, you needed the called. Not every voice in your life was chosen by me, but the ones that shifted your spirit in the right direction, the ones that affirmed your calling, the ones that saw the gold in your soul when you couldn't see it yourself. They were heaven sent. And I'm not finished aligning you. I am still writing new names into your story. Strategic alliances are forming even now. Destiny partnerships are awakening. You will meet people soon whose hearts will leap when they meet you, not out of admiration, but out of recognition. They'll know you because I have already prepared them. Let go of bitterness for those who left. Let go of confusion over those who turned away. Your absence was necessary to make space for those who carry the next key. I only removed to make room. I only distanced to deliver alignment. You were never abandoned. You were being cleared for covenant. From this moment forward, expect me to speak through mouths you didn't expect. Expect your answers to show up wrapped in the voice of a stranger. Expect your next season to be unlocked by a connection you didn't pursue, but I sent directly. I am aligning hearts. I am confirming purposes. I am synchronizing the rhythm of destiny. Do not underestimate the power of the people I place in your path. You're not just meeting them, you're meeting the future. Walk open, listen deeply, steward these divine connections with honor. I am bringing the right ones now, and through them, you will rise. You have cried over what didn't happen. You have grieved doors that never opened, relationships that never deepened, opportunities that fell through. You labeled them disappointments, but I called them protection. I shielded you when you didn't know you needed to be guarded. I blocked what you begged for because I saw the fracture beneath the surface. I heard the conversations you never heard. I discerned motives hidden behind smiles, and out of love, not judgment, I intervened. I allowed you to feel the sting of rejection to save you from the fire of destruction. I pulled you away before you could anchor in unsafe places. You thought I was silent, but I was loud in the spirit. You just couldn't hear it through the noise of longing. You assumed I had overlooked your prayers when in fact I had intercepted them to give you better than what you requested. My protection rarely announces itself. It moves quietly. It slips in like a whisper and closes a door just before you enter. It delays flights. It interrupts meetings. It ends conversations. And at first it feels like loss, but over time you will see it was mercy in motion. I protected your anointing. I shielded your future. I preserved your peace. Not every no was against you. Some were for you. Look again at the chapters you deemed failures. Were they truly failures, or were they detours away from danger? That job you didn't get would have drained your soul. That person you wanted would have stolen your fire. That platform you chased was laced with compromise. I saw it all. I knew the hidden cost, and because of who you are to me, I chose to block it. You are my child, and I am fiercely protective of what I've placed inside you. I will not allow anything to contaminate your calling. I will not let premature exposure dismantle your growth. I guard with precision. I cover with intensity. I encamp around you even when you feel alone. You have never walked unguarded. Even in your most vulnerable moments, my angels have flanked your path. Stop cursing the closed doors. Begin to thank me for them. What didn't happen may be the greatest miracle you have ever received. You don't need to know the details to trust my defense. Just know this. Every block was backed by heaven. Every redirection was wrapped in love. Every silent intervention was proof that I see what you don't. So walk boldly now, not in paranoia, but in peace. You are covered. You are protected. And when the enemy formed weapons, I dismantled them before they reached your field. You are not a victim of delay. You are the product of divine defense. Rest in that. Let it free you. You were never unguarded. You were always safe in me. You wondered if obedience mattered. You followed instructions that cost you reputation, comfort, timing, and applause. You obeyed when no one cheered. You said yes when you didn't understand. You laid down dreams because I whispered not yet. You released relationships because I said let go. And still you waited, watched, and wondered, was any of it seen? Did any of it matter? Yes, my child, more than you know. Your obedience wrote history in the unseen realm. Your surrender turned the tide in your bloodline. Your quiet yes echoed through generations. You may have thought you were simply enduring, but you were establishing heaven on earth. Your choices aligned you with a glory that surpasses this moment. I never required perfection from you, but I valued obedience, because obedience is not about control. It's about trust. You trusted me when you lacked understanding. You trusted me when the rewards didn't come quickly. You trusted me when everything in your logic said to turn back. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. And because of that trust, I have released my glory in your life. Not a shallow form of it, but a glory that rests, remains, and transforms. You carry my weight now, not the weight of performance, but the weight of purpose. You carry an atmosphere that shifts rooms. You've become a carrier of glory, not because you chased influence, but because you obeyed in obscurity. You built altars in private. You prayed when no one knew. You sacrificed when no one saw. And I saw it all. I recorded it. I breathed on it. Now the glory is no longer delayed. It is manifesting. You are walking into fulfillment, not because you forced it, but because you followed me. Your obedience carved out the road that grace is now traveling on. Miracles are meeting you at the place of your yes. Favor is finding you because you built your life around my word. The glory resting on you will be undeniable. This is not the season to question the cost. This is the moment to walk in the reward. The seeds you planted through obedience are breaking the surface. The harvest is here, and my presence is enveloping every area you surrendered. My child, I honor your obedience and I crown it with glory. You have reached the moment you thought might never come, the place where questions meet answers, where wounds meet healing, where time and eternity intersect. Look around you, my child. You are standing on holy ground. You are no longer who you were when the journey began. You have been shaped by fire, sculpted by faith, and prepared for such a time as this. Everything you endured, everything you released, everything you believed, it has led you here. This is not the end. This is the unveiling of what I've been building in secret. This is the moment when the setup becomes visible. I did not bring you through valleys and deserts to leave you stranded at the edge of fulfillment. I am not a God of halfway breakthroughs or unfinished stories. I am the author and the finisher. I write conclusions that glorify me and astonish the earth. I declare that you are now stepping into manifestation, not just of dreams but of destiny. What once lived in prayer will now breathe in reality. What you whispered in faith will now resound in testimony. I never lost sight of you, not for one moment. I knew how tired you were. I felt every weight you carried. I stood beside you in the dark, holding your promise when you couldn't hold it yourself. I was there in the silence, preparing the platform. I was there in the delays, expanding your foundation. You were never wandering. You were being positioned. The steps you took in trembling faith carved the path for my glory to descend. Now I am lifting the veil. I am revealing what your obedience has birthed. This is not a reward for effort. It is the harvest of covenant. I made promises to you that were not bound by time, and now I fulfill them, not according to man's schedule, but according to my divine calendar. You didn't miss your moment. You were being synchronized with heaven's rhythm. And now the fullness of time has come. Let go of the fear that still tries to cling to your spirit. Release the pressure to perform. You are not stepping into purpose by merit, but by design. I placed this calling within you before your first breath. I cultivated your character in the hidden years. I fortified your spirit in battles no one else saw. And now I present you not as one who barely made it, but as one who has been proven, positioned, and prepared. Lift your eyes. Look again. What surrounds you now is the fruit of what I planted long ago. Every prayer you prayed in pain watered this ground. Every sacrifice you made in silence fed this soil. Every act of faith when nothing made sense brought you to this divine unveiling. You are walking into what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, into things I preserved only for the faithful, the surrendered, the ones who would not quit. You are not here by accident. You are here because the setup has reached its divine crescendo. The orchestra of heaven has played in secret long enough. Now it bursts forth in revelation. The fullness of my word is unfolding around you. The anointing is visible. The timing is perfect. The placement is strategic. And the doors, these doors, no one can shut, for I have opened them myself. So walk forward not as one who is uncertain, but as one who is chosen. Speak with clarity, move with power, love with abandon, serve with joy. You are not rising alone. I am rising through you. You are not just fulfilling purpose, you are revealing my glory. Everything in your life was leading to this. Even the pain had a prophecy in it. Even the closed doors carried divine fingerprints. Let this settle in your heart forever. I never wasted one moment. I never allowed what I would not redeem. I never broke what I would not restore. The conclusion of this journey is not the end of the road, it is the beginning of reign. You are stepping into a kingdom chapter, and it carries the authority of my name. No more delay, no more striving, no more wondering if you've missed it. You have arrived at destiny's threshold, and I, the Lord your God, declare, it is time. Walk through in boldness, in purity, in fullness. The divine setup was never to crush you, it was to crown you. And now you wear what I placed upon you long ago. Rise, my child. The good days have been written in victory, and your future, oh yes, your future will blaze with my glory. You have just walked through the gates of a divine setup, a journey I wrote with fire and sealed with glory. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a legacy that will outlive you. If this word changed you, then let your giving change someone else. When you sow, whether through Super Thanks or the PayPal link below, you become a co-laborer in my mission to awaken destinies. What you release today will ripple into realms you may never see, but I see them, and I will bless your obedience. You have asked me for purpose. I say to you now, this is it. Don't miss this prophetic moment. Give boldly. Give with expectation. Let your support become the door through which I reach another child I've marked for destiny. My child, if your spirit has stirred, if your tears have spoken what your lips could not, if something eternal was awakened in you as you listened, then do not let this moment pass like vapor. Respond, declare, and engage with the word you just received. Heaven has hovered near, and now you must move. Type it, say it, shout it if you must, but don't leave this space without aligning your voice with mine. I want to hear you claim what is already yours. I want to see you mark the moment where you recognized, I didn't stumble into this, I was set up by the Almighty. Here's what I invite you to do. Declare in the comments, I walked into a divine setup. I didn't miss it. I was positioned for it. Or write your own declaration from your spirit. Let it pour out. Let it be a stake in the ground. Let this moment be memorialized in words that remind your future self. That day I saw the setup for what it truly was. Divine, intentional, holy. Engage not for performance, but for power. For every declaration you make becomes a sword in the spirit. Every testimony you share becomes a beacon to someone else's dark season. What you release might be the very words someone else needed to take their next step. Don't underestimate the ripple of obedience. Speak, declare, testify, tell me what resonated. Share what has shifted. Boldly state what you are stepping into now. And as you do, I will hover over those words. I will breathe upon them. I will multiply their impact in your life and in the lives of all who read them. This isn't just a video, it's a visitation. And your response is the altar. So come, my child, write your declaration below and step fully into the divine setup I prepared for you before time began. The gates of destiny are wide open. The moment is now. Speak and walk through. Type your declaration now. I walked into a divine setup. Share it, tag someone, and let your testimony be the key that unlocks another person's breakthrough. That peace you are looking for is my very signature, the authentication of my presence with you. So start looking for these signs. My beloved, see me in the details and you will realize you have never ever been walking alone. Let's talk about the paths you regret, because I see you look back on certain seasons of your life and your heart clenches with the memory. A mistake, you call it, a waste of time, saying if only I hadn't gone that way. You carry the weight of that perceived error like a heavy stone in your pocket, and it has robbed you of joy for too long. But I want you to take that stone out now and look at it with me, and let me show you what I see. What you have labeled a detour or a wrong turn was actually a divinely charted course, and that path you lamented as a mistake was a necessary journey I designed for your spiritual maturing. You thought you were lost, wandering in a wilderness of your own making, but I was leading you with purpose every step of the way. And I had to take you on that route because I was protecting you from heartaches and dangers just around the corner. Dangers you could not possibly foresee. You were so certain of the path you wanted, but I could see the cliff's edge it was leading you toward. So I routed you, and even though it felt like a painful deviation, it was my mercy in action. On this seeming detour, you acquired wisdom you could not have gained any other way. You learned resilience because you had to get back up after falling. And you learned compassion because you experienced deep pain yourself. You developed skills in that job you thought was beneath you, skills that I am about to use for your ultimate destiny. So you are stronger today because of that wrong turn. Think about the people you met on that diverted path, the ones who came into your life during that season you wish you could erase. Do you think they were there by accident? Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. No, my child, they are bricks for your future. And I was weaving your stories together, knowing that you would need them, and they would need you for what is to come. More than anything, this unexpected route was designed for one primary purpose: to demolish your self-reliance and build your unshakable faith in me. Because you were leaning on your own understanding, your own strength, and your own plans. I had to lead you to the end of your resources so you would finally discover the limitlessness of mine. And it was on that difficult road that you truly learned to pray, to depend, to trust me not as a last resort, but as your very breath. So I tell you today with all the love in my being, release the regret, because there are no wrong turns in my kingdom. There are no wasted years. There are only sanctified routes to your promised purpose. And you are exactly where you need to be, not in spite of your detours, but because of them. If that truth lands in your heart right now, show your agreement. Click subscribe or follow so we can keep walking together in these next steps. Now, my child, let's talk about what is happening right now. Let's speak of the challenge that is pressing in on you, the one that keeps you up at night, replaying in your mind. Yes, that one, you see it as a problem, an unwelcome intruder in your life, a barrier to your peace, and you have prayed for me to remove it, to take it away. And you wonder why I've allowed it to remain. Come closer and let me reveal its purpose, because the challenge you currently face is the very instrument I am using to forge your resilience. You have been asking me for strength, and this is my answer. For strength is not given, my beloved, it is for Jed. You are the steel, and this pressure is the heat of my forge, and I am the master craftsman. With every strike, I am shaping you, strengthening you, creating a durability in your spirit that cannot be broken. So you will not shatter, you will be tempered. Within this great struggle you are enduring lies the seed of your most powerful testimony, and one day you will stand on the other side of this, and you will tell others of my faithfulness. Your story of victory over this very problem will be the light that guides another soul out of their darkness. Because I daunt was to pain, it transformed it into purpose. I have allowed this problem to persist, because it has exposed an area of your heart where you must receive my grace more fully. As you were operating in your own power, relying on your own intellect and abilities, but this situation has brought you to your knees, and it is on your knees that you are in the perfect posture to receive my help. This hardship is intentionally designed to shift your focus from what is temporary to what is eternal. For you were consumed with the worries of this world, but this trial has forced you to look up to seek a higher perspective, my perspective. This obstacle you see is not a barrier meant to stop you. It is a divine bridge I have built to lead you from a place of limited human understanding to a deeper revelation of my unlimited power. And you have to walk over this bridge to get to the next level of faith I have for you. Do you feel the pressure? I know you do. It feels intense, heavy, sometimes unbearable. But understand that pressure is shaping you into a vessel worthy of carrying my glory. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, so I am expanding your capacity, making you able to contain the immense blessings I have in store for you. So do not despise the problem. Instead, see it through my eyes as a holy instrument, a divine step designed to make you more like my Son, and to prepare you for a future filled with my power. If this is resonating and you want us to pray over this struggle together, join our prayer circle through the membership link. Come receive personal prayer and community. It feels like a thick fog, doesn't it, my child? A state of confusion you find yourself in where you cannot see the path clearly. And you try to hear my voice, but it seems distant, muffled by the noise of your own anxious thoughts. Every potential decision feels like a monumental risk. And so you stand still, paralyzed by the uncertainty, and you cry out for clarity, for a sign, for a clear roadmap. But all you receive is the silence and the fog. I want you to understand that this confusion is not a punishment, it is a preparation, and your current state of confusion is my handiwork clearing the sacred ground of your heart for a profound revelation from heaven. Your mind was too cluttered with your own plans, your own ambitions, the world's expectations, and your fears, so I had to quiet all of that noise so that you could finally learn to listen for me in a new way. It's in the blinding fog of uncertainty that your spirit learns to seek my light most earnestly. For when you have no light of your own, when you cannot rely on your own sight, you must reach for your only true source of direction. This season is teaching you a desperate, beautiful dependence, because I often quiet the noise of what you think you want so you can discover what I know you need. My will for you is so much grander than the small plans you have been clinging to, and sometimes I must allow you to become lost, so you will let go of your faulty map and ask me, the true guide, for the way. This season of not knowing is compelling you to trust the one who knows all things. And it is a difficult but priceless lesson, because you are learning to walk by faith and not by what your limited sight can perceive. You are learning to be comfortable with mystery, knowing that the Master of the universe holds your life in his hands. And I promise you this, out of this bewildering fog will emerge a certainty in your calling that cannot be shaken. The clarity that is coming will not be a fragile human achievement that you figured out on your own. It will be a holy gift bestowed upon you from heaven. It will be a deep settled, knowing in your bones, a clarity born from chaos. When that light breaks through, you will value it more than you can imagine, because you will remember the darkness that came before it. So be patient in the fog. My beloved, stop striving to find the way best still, and let me lead you forth. Confusion is not the end. It is the holy ground where true clarity is about to be born. My child, pause here. Can you feel the shift in your spirit? We have only just begun to clear the fog. And to turn away now would be to choose the fog over the clarity I am about to reveal. And it would grieve my heart to see you walk away just as the sun is about to break through. Stay with me, for there is so much more I need to show you about the beautiful pattern I am weaving. If you are still listening and your heart is stirring, write in the comments now, "I trust the weaver." Let your declaration be a publican for your soul. Your words will encourage someone else in this room. I have told you that your life is a majestic tapestry I am weaving, and I want you to come back to that image with me now to truly understand what it means to trust me, your perspective. My child is necessarily limited because you are living on the underside of the tapestry, and all you can see are the tangled threads, the chaotic knots, the seemingly random stitches that come and go. From your view, the work is messy, confusing, and lacks any discernible pattern. You feel the sharp pull of the needle and it hurts. You see a dark thread being used and you despair. Forgetting that the darkest threads are needed to make the bright colors stand out in brilliant contrast. You cannot make sense of it and your heart grows fearful. You question my skill, my goodness, even my presence, and this is the struggle of your faith. But I invite you to imagine my perspective. For I am the weaver. I see the magnificent design from above. I see the whole picture, and I know how every single thread, every color, every knot, and every difficult stitch is contributing to the final glorious masterpiece of your life. Every part is its perfect place, and from my vantage point, there is no chaos, only intricate, beautiful, purposeful design. Therefore, I call you out of faith, and faith, my beloved, is not needing to see the full picture. It is not about you understanding my grand design while I'm still at work. Faith is simply knowing that the artist is good. It is looking away from the tangled threads of your circumstances and looking into the loving eyes of your Father. It is trusting the hands of the weaver even when you cannot see the pattern. This is what I ask of you now. Hold on to my promise, not your own understanding, because my promise is that I am working all things, even the painful, confusing things together for your good. Your understanding will fail you because it is too limited, but my promise is eternal and unbreakable, and every knot of difficulty, every stitch of pain is being used by me. Nothing is wasted, it is all contributing to the final work, adding depth, character, and beauty that would be impossible without it. So I command you to, with all my love, do not judge the unfinished work. Stop analyzing the tangled threads at your feet. Lift your eyes to them. Trust me, the process may be difficult, but I give you my divine word that the final revelation of what I have been doing in your life will be glorious, and it will take your breath away. I know the unique HE of a prayer that seems to hit the ceiling and fall back to the floor unanswered. I've seen you on your knees, your heart raw with pleading, asking for something you believe with all your being is good and necessary. And the silence you receive, in return, feels like a rejection, like I have turned my face away from you, and you wonder, do you even hear me? Do you even care? My child, your every whisper is a thunder in my ears, but I want to bring you into a deeper understanding of my ways. Sometimes my most profound act of love is a prayer. I do not answer in the way you expect. My silence is not no but a holy wait, because my timing is always and forever perfect. Is the entire timeline of your life, and I know the precise moment it will sing will serve its highest purpose. And to give it to you a moment sooner would be to give you something less than the fullness I intend. It must also tell you with all the tenderness of a loving father that sometimes I deny a good request to give you what is best and eternally significant. You see a part of the picture, all you asked for that job, but I knew it would lead you down a path of compromise that would slowly erode your soul. You begged for that relationship to be saved, but I could see the hidden pain it would cause you in the years to come. What you asked for was a stone that you mistook for bread, and I love you far too much to let you harm yourself. So the prayer I did not answer was my hand of protection shielding you from a future you could not see. This period of perceived silence is as a cred space I have created. It is uncomfortable, I know, but it is in this space that your fae, this being stretched to new dimensions. You are learning to trust my goodness even when you do not see my hand. You are learning that my presence is the true answer to your prayers more than any specific outcome. That unanswered prayer you have mourned has cleared the space for my will to be done in your life, and my will is always, always far superior, more loving and more glorious than anything you could ask for or imagine. You feel stuck, don't you? You see others moving forward, receiving the things you have been praying for, and it feels like you are left behind in a perpetual waiting room. The frustration is real, the impatience gnaws at you, and you cry out asking how much longer. Indeed, you to hear this clearly and let it sink into the deepest part of your spirit. A delay from me is not a denial, it is a divine appointment. It is a period of holy preparation. You think nothing is happening, but in the unseen realm, I am moving mountains on your behalf. While you are waiting, I am tirelessly at work aligning circumstances and preparing people you have not even met. I am orchestrating 1,000 details to ensure that when your blessing arrives, the conditions are perfect for it to flourish. If I released it to you now, it would be premature and the ground is not yet ready, but it is not just the destination I am preparing. I am preparing you. This pause, this delay you so despise is building priceless character in you. It is cultivating a patience that makes your soul deep and steadfast. It is forging a perseverance that will allow you to steward great blessings without crumbling. It is nurturing a hope that is not dependent on circumstances, but is anchored in my unchanging character. You see, the waiting room of life is where I perform some of my most profound heart surgery. It is in the quiet, in the waiting, that I can finally get your full attention. I heal wounds you didn't know you had. I expose idols you have been clinging to. I wean you from your demand for instant gratification and teach you their rhythms of faith and trust. I am holding you back until the perfect moment for your arrival because I want you to have the maximum impact, and a premature arrival would lessen your effectiveness. And finally, see this delay as my strategic move on the great chessboard of your life. The enemy wants you to grow anxious and forfeit the game, but I'm your grandmaster and I see every move. And this delay is my calculated play to ensure your ultimate and total victory. So embrace at this waiting. It is no empty time, it is appointed time, it is sacred, and it is rich with my purpose. I never promised you a life free from storms. That is a promise from a different God, a God of comfort and ease, but not the guide of triumphant power. My promise to you was never that the waters would always be calm. My promise was that I would be with you in the boat when the storm rages. I would be your anchor. Look around you now. The winds of circumstance are howling. The waves of fear are crashing over the sides of your life, threatening to swamp you. The rain of loss and disappointment is chilling you to the bone, but I am right here with you. I have not left. I have allowed this storm, and I have allowed it for a divine reason. This tempest is not there to destroy you. It is here to reveal the unshakable strength of your anchor in me. It is easy to have faith on a sunny day, but it is in the fiercest gales that you discover whether your hope is truly fastened to the rock that cannot be moved. And this is your opportunity to learn that I am the sovereign Lord over all creation. The wind and the waves still know my name. And even if I don't calm the storm around you immediately, I will calm the storm inside of you. For this trial is teaching you to end your strength not in your own abilities to navigate, not in your own power to bail out the water, but in the simple, profound reality of my presence with you. Let the winds blow, for they are blowing away the chaff in your life, the things that are not of me, and let the waves crash, for they are washing away the debris of fear, pride, and self-reliance that have clung to you for too long. My child, you will emerge from this storm. You will not gounder and weigh. When you reach the other side, your testimony will not be that you were a great sailor. Your testimony will be that the storm was ferocious, but your God was with you and He sustained you. You are not a victim of this storm. You are a student in my classroom of faith, and the lesson you are learning on these tumultuous seas will make you a vessel capable of navigating any water for the rest of your life. So cling to me, for I am your calm in the chaos. There is a unique and sharp sting that comes from a door being shut in your face, especially a door you prayed for, a door you believe. D was leading you to the job you were certain was yours, the house you set your heart on, the opportunity that seemed like the perfect answer. And then it closed, slammed, locked. The silence that follows feels like rejection, and the confusion is immense. You ask me why, because you trusted me, and you thought this was my will, but today I want you to see that closed door with new eyes. I want you to understand that a door is shut as one of the greatest and most profound acts of my love and mercy toward you. It is not a rejection of you, it is a protection for you. I am the gatekeeper of your life. I stand at the door, and because I love you with a perfect love, I see what lies on the other side. Behind that door you were so desperate to open was a heartache you were not prepared for. Behind it was a subtle compromise that would have diverted your destiny, a toxic environment that would have suffocated your spirit, a hidden trap laid by the enemy to ensnare you. I shut that door because I love you too much to let you walk into that harm. That opportunity was not aligned with the glorious and specific destiny I have written for your life. It was a good plan, but have the best plan. Do not waste another moment of your precious strength pushing on a door I have sovereignly sealed. Do not sit before it and weep for what might have been, for to do so is to doubt my goodness and my wisdom. I command you now in love to get up, dust yourself off and turn around. Stop looking at the door that it's closed and turn and see with the eyes of faith. I'm already moving. I'm already preparing to open a new gate for you. And this gate leads to a future far grander than the one you imagined for yourself. It leads to my open highways of grace, to fields of blessing you did not know existed. My closed doors are not meant to be your prison. They are my divine detours, my loving redirection. So trust me and thank me for the doors I have closed in your life, for they are as much a testament to my faithfulness as the ones I will open. If God has used this message to shift your heart, partner with this work. A super thanks, a membership, or a PayPal gift. Links below. Helps us take this message to more people in need. Give now and sow into someone's breakthrough. My child, you now see that every closed door is my merciful protection, and you felt my hand redirecting you and have asked how you can be my hand for another. And this is your moment. Your gift does not just support a channel, it becomes a key that opens a door of hope for another soul who is weeping before their own locked gate. For as I have set before you an open door and none can shut it, and through your obedience, you help me place that door before them. Every seed you sow through super thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link you will find in the description, I will multiply into a harvest of breakthroughs for the lost. This moment is not random. Your act of faith will echo in eternity as you open a door for them. I will open the windows of heaven over your own life. So act now. Partner with me in this divine setup and watch what I do. My beloved, I have shown you my hand in the detours and the closed doors. Do you feel the truth of my protection? To stop listening now would be to understand the principle but miss the proof, and I am about to show you how these truths look in aerial human life. It would wound me deeply to see you leave before you witness the evidence of my love in action. So do not turn from this. Let me show you what is possible, my child. Your story is not the first of its kind. I want to tell you about my son Joseph. I want you to see your own journey reflected in his. He had a dream given by me, the promise of his destiny, but the path to that promise led directly through betrayal, slavery, and accusation. So look closely at this story. His brothers, in their jealous rage, thought they were ending his story when they threw him in a pit. But their evil act was the very vehicle I used to transport him to Egypt, the exact place his destiny was to unfold. The pit was no this demise, it was his divinely appointed transportation. He was sold, stripped of his identity, and became in a foreign land. But event there my hand was on him, and everything he touched prospered. Then came the false accusation from his master's wife Potiphar, Elia, that landed him in a dungeon. Andy, you would look at that and call it a devastating injustice, the end of all hope. But the prison was not a punishment, it was my proving ground. It was the classroom where it taught them humility, where it stripped him of all pride, and where I refined his reliance on the gift of interpretation I had placed within him. Do you see that every single injustice, every setback, every moment of despair was a step upward on the invisible staircase I was building for him? Each event was perfectly designed and allowed by me to forge the character he would need to rule a nation. He learned to manage a household as a slave, and he learned to manage an organization in the prison. Nothing was wasted. What his brothers meant for evil, what Potiphar's wife meant for evil, what the cupbearer's forgetfulness meant for evil, I explicitly and sovereignly intended all for good, for the salvation of countless people. Now look at your own life, the betrayals you have faced, the false accusations, the seasons where you felt forgotten in a pit of despair. And do not believe for a second that these things have derailed my plan. They are my plan. Your pity is your transportation, your prison is your training ground. I am using every single thing to position you for your purpose. Your story, like Joseph's, is a story of redemption that I am personally and lovingly authoring, so trust me in the process, because the palace is being prepared. I want to take you to a desert now, my child, a place of silence, of solitude, of seeming emptiness. And I want to tell you about my servant Moses. For 40 years he lived in the palace of Egypt, the most powerful nation on earth. He learned the ways of man, the strategies of leadership, the language of the elite. The palace taught them how to speak, but it was a desert that taught them how to listen. After he fled Egypt, he spent 40 years in the barren wilderness of Midian, and to him it must have felt like a great failure, a permanent detour, the end of a promising life. He went from being a prince of Egypt to being a humble shepherd of his father-in-law's flock. But what he saw was Austin, and I had designated as his sacred classroom. And that 40 years' silence was not an absence of my presence. It was the deliberate removal of every other distraction, so he could finally learn the sound of my voice. In the palace, he was surrounded by noise and ambition. But in the desert, he had only the wind, the sheep, and the stars, and it was there that I humbled him. It was there in the slow, patient work of shepherding stubborn sheep that I forged in him the character needed to lead my own stubborn people. For the lone lines of the wilderness wash his preparation for the crushing loneliness of leadership. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. He had to learn to find his companionship in me and me alone. And most importantly, in that desert, I stripped him of his own identity. I took from him the title Prince of Egypt. I took from him his reliance on his own strength and eloquence. He emptied him of all that he thought that was, so I could fill him with all that I am. And it was only after he was broken of his own identity that he was ready to find his true identity in me, the great I am. And it was there in the desolate place that he met me in a burning bush. Now think of your own desert seasons, the times you feel unseen, unproductive, forgotten, and isolated, feeling that your life is on hold. My child, you are mistaken. Your desert's my chosen training ground. It is where I am doing my deepest work in you, stripping you of self-reliance and teaching you to hear me voice, so do not despise your desert, for it is the holy ground where you're being prepared for your divine calling. Now let me tell you about a different kind of positioning. Let me tell you about my daughter Esther. She was an orphan member of an exiled people living as a minority in a foreign pagan land. And by all worldly accounts, she was insignificant, powerless. So I ask you, do you think it was a coincidence that this particular orphan girl became the queen of the entire Persian Empire? There are no coincidences in my kingdom, my child. There is only divine orchestration, and her position in that palace was not an accident of history. It was my strategic placement of a secret agent positioned for the sole purpose of deliverance. I knew a crisis was coming. I knew a plan would be hatched to annihilate her people. And long before the enemy ever conceived his plot, I had already positioned my solution inside the palace walls. I used everything about her. Her booty was the key that I used to open the palace door for her. But it was her courageous spirit that I had been secretly honing in her throughout their entire life. That was the weapon that ultimately won the victory. Her quiet wisdom, her patient timing, her respectful approach to the king. I had cultivated all of it within her. Every part of her life, from her tragic orphaning to her quiet upbringing by her cousin Mordecai, was a preparation for that single pivotal moment of choice, the moment she had to risk her own life, her own comfort, her own safety, and declare, "If I perish." She stepped out of the shadows and into her destinies. Anna, I want you to look at your own life. Look at your specific circumstances, your workplace, your neighborhood, your family. You may feel ordinary, you may feel you have little influence, but you have been placed exactly where you are with your unique personality, your specific history, and your particular skills for such time as this. You are my solution to a problem you may not even see eyed. You are my agent of love, my voice of hope, my hands of deliverance positioned perfectly for a divine purpose. So do not underestimate your position, because you are right. To where I need you to be, my child, let us speak of the things that you wish I would take away. Let's talk about the thorn, that persistent weakness, that chronic illness, that painful relationship, that struggle in your character, that you have prayed and fasted and begged met or move. And yet it remains. You see it as a failure, a hindrance, perhaps even a sign of my displeasure. It is the source of your greatest frustration. But I want to show you this thorn from my perspective. My beloved servant Paul, a giant of the faith, pleaded with me 3 times to remove a thorn from his flesh. It is a messenger from the enemy designed to torment him, and in one sense he was right. But I allowed it to remain, and I allowed it for 2 glorious reasons. First, that thorn kept him humble because I had given him such extraordinary revelations of heaven that he was in danger of becoming proud, and the thorn was a constant reminder of his human frailty, keeping him dependent on me. Second, and I want you to hearth this deep in your spirit, his weakness became the perfect dark canvas upon which the brilliance of my strength could be displayed most vividly. So his weakness did not disqualify him, it qualified him for a greater measure of my power. This is why I said to him words that echo through eternity for you today. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. My power is not perfected in your strength, your talent, or your self-sufficiency. It finds its most glorious expression in your weakness. Now bring your own thorn to me, that thing you have despised and tried to hide. That struggle that makes you feel so inadequate, for I am telling you today that the very same grace that was sufficient for Paul is sufficient for you. Your thorn is not my punishment, it is a divine instrument. It is the very place where my power has chosen to rest upon you. It is the here and where I will do my greatest work in you and through you, so stop fighting it, stop despising it. Do not let the enemy use it to condemn you. Instead, see it as an invitation to experience my all-sufficient grace in a way you never could without it. For your greatest weakness is the stage for my greatest strength. Imagine, my child, the despair that could have overtaken my servant, Paul, when he was arrested, chained, and thrown into a cold Roman prison. To the natural eye, to the world, this was a catastrophic defeat. The greatest missionary in history was stopped in his tracks, his voice was silenced, his ministry was over. The enemy surely celebrated, thinking he had finally won, that the gospel had been bound in chains. But I want you to see what I was doing. I want you to see how I can take what looks like a prison and turn it into a pulpit. Those chains that bound his wrists did not bind the gospel of grace. In fact, they did the opposite. They advanced it in ways she never could have imagined, for it was from that prison cell that he had the time and focus to pen the letters that have become the very bedrock of my church. For millennia, the letters to the Ephesians, the Philippians, the Colossians to Philemon, these glorious revelations flowed from a place of confinement, so what looked like a prison was actually a writer's retreat ordained by me. Furthermore, his imprisonment was not a silencing of his voice. It was an amplification to a whole new audience, because as a Roman prisoner, he was chained day and night to soldiers from the elite Praetorian Guard. Every 4 hours, a new guard would be chained to the most powerful evangelist on the planet. He had a captive audience, and these soldiers heard his prayers, they heard his teachings, they witnessed his unshakable joy in the midst of suffering. And what happened was that they were wont to. The gospel infiltrated the very heart of Caesar's household. His prison became a missionary launching pad into the highest echelons of the Roman Empire. So now look at your own life and ask, what is your prison? Is it a physical illness that confines you to your home? Is it a season of deep depression that feels like a dark cell? Is it a dead-end job or a difficult family situation that feels like a trap? Hear me today. I can turn your prison into your greatest platform. I can use your place of confinement, your season of limitation, to bring forth your most fruitful and powerful ministry. So do not despair in your chains. Surrender them to me and watch as I use them to set others free. You see now how I can't turn any prison into a platform, and your heart is beginning to hope. But there is a deeper work I must show you, the sacred work I do in the fire. To leave this conversation now would be to admire the finished product without understanding the refining process that makes it beautiful. And my heart yearns for you to understand the purpose of your heat, your pressure, so do not turn away from the furnace. I am inviting you and to show you that I am with you even in the flames. Today, I see you, my child, I see you in the furnace of affliction. You feel the searing heat of your trial, and you are terrified that you will be consumed by it, that you will be reduced to ash. The pain is intense, the pressure is unbearable, and you cry out for relief. But I want you to understand the nature of this fire, for I am the divine refiner, and you are my precious gold, and gold is never destroyed by fire. It is purified by it. The fire doesn't harm the gold itself. Its only purpose is to burn away the dross, the impurities that mar its value and obscure its brilliant shine. The heat you're feeling is my loving, purposeful fire burning away the hidden dross in your life. It is burning away the impurities of pride that tell you that you can do this on your own. It is burning away the selfishness that demands your own comfort above all else. It is burning away the deep-seated fears that have held you captive. It is burning away your reliance on people and circumstances which are as fleeting as shadows. This process is not arbitrary. I am the master refiner, and my eye is on you constantly. I am sitting by the furnace, my hand on the thermostat, watching you with intense care. I will never allow the fire to be only on degree hotter than what is absolutely necessary to accomplish my purpose in you, and my purpose is this. I am shaping in you the character of my own beloved Son Jesus. I am conforming you to his image. This refining process, though painful, produces something priceless in you. It produces endurance, the ability to stand firm under pressure. And that endurance develops proven character, a soul that has been tested and found to be genuine. And that character, my child, produces a hope that will never disappoint you, because it is a hope forged in the fire. Experience a hope that knows I am faithful. So do not fear the furnace, do not try to escape. It's surrender to the process and trust to your refiner. For I promise you, you will emerge from this fire not smelling of smoke, but reflecting my image more brightly and beautifully than ever before. You feel as though you have come to the end of yourself. Do you not? Your own strength has run out, your clever ideas have been exhausted, your financial resources are depleted, and your emotional energy is gone. You stand empty-handed and weary, and you think this is a play. See a failure. My child, this is not failure, this is sacred ground. I have lovingly and intentionally led you to the end of your own resources so that you may finally truly discover the glorious limitlessness of mine. For years you have tried to hold your life together with your own two hands, but your grip has been failing. You have leaned on your job for security, on other people for approval, on your own intellect for solutions, and I have allowed these props one by one to be knocked away, not to be cruel, but so that you would finally learn to lean your full weight, solely and completely. Self-sufficiency feels like strength to you, but in my kingdom, it is a barrier, it is a wall that keeps you from experiencing true intimacy with your Creator. For a heart that is full of its own plans has no room for Him, and a hand that is clenched trying to control everything cannot be opened to receive the gifts I long to give you. I have brought you to this place of emptiness, so I can fill you to overflowing, because this entire situation you are in was designed to teach you in the deepest part of your being that I am not just a part of your life. I am your life, am your only true source of strength, your only reliable provider, your only unshakable hope. And I want you to learn to depend on me for your next breath, for your daily bread, for your peace of mind. For this dependence you fear is not a weakness. It is your greatest spiritual strength. It is the posture of absolute power. When you are completely dependent on me, my unlimited power is free to flow through you without obstruction. So do not mourn your emptiness, rejoice in it, for it is the vessel I am about to fill. Now, I want you to lift your eyes and look at where you are stand. Dinjan this very moment, for this is not an accidental location on your life's journey. Every event you have walked through, every tear you have cried, every victory you have celebrated, every painful detour, every furnace of affliction has been a strategic move, because I have been positioning you, my beloved, right here. For right now, you must understand I am positioning you not primarily for your own comfort, but for your unique and vital contribution to my kingdom. You have an assignment that none else can fill. The specific combination of your personality, your history, your gifts, and even your wound has made you the perfect person for a task I have ordained since before time began. Think about the tools you now possess. The deep compassion you learned through your own sorrow is a tool for your assignment. The unshakable resilience you gain from your failures is a tool for your assignment. The specific skills you learned in that job you thought was meaningless. The relationships you built during your season of waiting. These are the exact hand-picked tools you will need for what I am calling you to do. You are my answer to a specific prayer being prayed by someone else. You are my solution to a particular problem in the world. You are my light designed to shine in a very specific corner of darkness. And this divine setup, this place you are in today, is the launching pad for the very purpose for which I created you. All that has come before has been your training, your preparation, your positioning, and the time for training is coming to a close, and the time for fulfilling your purpose is at hand. So I command you, do not look back with regret, do not look around and compare. Eyes on to others, look forward with faith-filled anticipation, because you are not behind, you are not lost. You are perfectly and divinely positioned for what lies ahead. In your moments of deepest pain, I know you have looked up to heaven and asked why this suffering, and you have seen your struggle as a personal private agony. But I want to lift your eyes to see a purpose far greater than your own experience, my child. The pain you are enduring today will become the potent hope you offer to someone else tomorrow, the very trial that is threatening to bar. EQ is the raw material for your most powerful testimony. One day very soon, you will encounter a soul lost in the same dark valley you are currently navigating. They will be filled with despair, believing they are alone, and that there is now a out, and you, because you have walked this path, will be able to take their hand and say with unshakable authority, I know this place, I have been here, and I can tell you there is a way through. My God was faithful to me here, and He will be faithful to you. Do you see that I do not was teasing one of your tears? I am collecting them, and I will turn them into rivers of healing and refreshment. For others, your journey through this valley is creating a map. Your footprints of faith, pressed into the mud of your struggle, are leaving a trail for those who will come after you. You are becoming a living letter, a story of my redeeming power and sustaining grace that will be read by everyone you meet. They will see the scars on your heart and know that healing is possible. They will see the strength in your spirit and know that resilience is attainable. They will see the hope in your eyes and know that joy can be found even after the deepest sorrow. My glory, my bell, Oved, is going to be revealed not just to you in your deliverance, but through you and your testimony. For your life is becoming a beacon, your story is becoming a lifeline. If this message transformed you today, would you help carry it forward? Share it now with one person who needs to hear it. Press share of this hope into another life. This setup is not just about saving you, it is about equipping you to become a vessel of salvation for many. And now I must ask you to lift your gaze even higher, for as deep and personal as this journey has been, it is ultimately not just about you. This divine setup, this intricate plan I have been weaving in your life is about something infinitely larger. It's about my eternal kingdom and its unstoppable advance in this world. For too long, your prayers have been centered on your own comfort, your own deliverance, your own dreams, and I do not fault you for this, for it is the cry of the human heart. But I am calling you to something greater. I am lovingly weaning you from a life of personal ambition and passionately aligning your heart with my divine agenda. Your life is a single crucial thread in the grand tapestry of redemption that I have been weaving since the dawn of time. Your story is meant to fit perfectly into my larger story. I am teaching you what it truly means to pray the words my son taught you. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I am teaching. Jaido truly mean it to desire me will more than your own, to find your greatest joy not in your own success but in the advance of my light and love in the world. And here is a divine secret. When your heart begins to beat for the things my heart beats for, you will see my hand move in and through your life with an astonishing power you have never known. When you hurt for the people I hurt for, when you long to see the captives set free, when your primary passion becomes seeing my name glorified, then your personal needs will be met as simple by productive your kingdom folk you. Thus entire process, this whole divine setup, is to enlist you more fully as my partner. I am not looking for employees. I am looking for sons and daughters who will be co-laborers with me in the grand and glorious work of redeeming all of creation. Your heart is being enlarged to hold my purposes. My child, you feel the call to be a co-laborer in my grand work. You have prayed your kingdom come, your will be done, and my heart assured your sincere cry. This is your answer. When you give, you are no longer just a spectator. You become a partner in advancing my kingdom into the heart of someone lost in darkness. Your gift is the very oil I use to fuel the lamp that guides them home. I declared, seek first the kingdom, and promised to provide for all your needs. So watch how I fulfill my word as you act in faith. This moment of alignment is your divine appointment to sow into eternity. As you invest in eternal work through Super Thanks a membership or the PayPal link below, I will release an anointing of wisdom and favor over your household. And now enlist with me, give and let my kingdom advance through you. My child, your heart is now beginning to be ate in rhythm with mine. You see the grander purpose we have come so far together, and to stop now would be to understand the why but reject the how. It would break my heart to bring you to the edge of this new understanding, only to watch you turn back to the familiar path of walking by sight. For I am about to give you every key to unlocking this kingdom life. So do not leave me now, the most crucial steps are just ahead. Therefore, my child, based on I have shown you the unseen blueprint, the purpose in your problems, the strategic positioning. I have a clear and simple call for you today. It is a call to a higher way of living, a way that contradicts the world and even your own natural senses. I call you out today to walk by faith, not by sight. Your physical eyes will deceive you. They can only see the storm. the closed door, the empty bank account, the tangled threads on the underside of the tapestry. Your eyes see the facts of your situation, and those facts may scream of defeat and impossibility. But faith doesn't look at the facts, it looks at the truth, and the truth is my character and my promises. I am calling you to trust my truth more than you trust your temporary reality. I am calling you to trust my promises more than you trust your problems. Faith is the currency of my kingdom. It is the one thing that truly pleases me because it is an act of profound trust. It is what connects your finite life to my infinite power. So what does this look like in practice? It means you take the next step I've illuminated for you, even if you cannot see the entire staircase. It means you speak my promises out loud over your situation, even when your feelings are telling you the opposite. It means you give thanks for the victory before you see the battle turn. This walk of faith is the highest form of worship because with every step you are declaring to all of heaven and earth that your God is good, that He is wise, and that He is utterly trustworthy. Your sight will tell you it's impossible. Your feelings will scream it's over. But your faith, my child, your faith will rise up and whisper the eternal truth that with my God all things are possible. So choose today which report you will believe. Walk by faith, and you will see the salvation of your God, my child. You have often approached prayer as a transaction, a place where you present me with your list of demands and hope I will fulfill your orders. You have seen it as a way to change my mind, to convince me to come around to your way of thinking. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. But I want to invite you into a deeper, more powerful understanding. Prayer in its truest form is not about you changing my mind, it is about you partnering with Meso. I can't transform your heart. It is the sacred space where you bring your confusion and I give you my clarity, where you bring your weakness and I give you my strength. It is the holy meeting ground where you align your heart and your will with mine. Think of it this way, prayer is your divine communication line. It is the secure connection where you receive your daily instructions, your spiritual nourishment, and your marching orders for the day, and it is in our quiet conversation that I grant to you the wisdom and the fortitude to walk the path I have already set before you. You have sometimes treated prayer as a last resort, the emergency brake you pull when you are about to crash. But I am calling you to see it as your primary strategy, the very steering wheel of your life, not meant for emergencies only, but for constant communion. Through prayer, you are not just asking me to fix your circumstances from a distance. You are inviting my manifest presence. Power directly into the situation. You become a co-laborer with me. When you pray for that difficult person at work, you are inviting my love to flow through you toward them. When you pray over your finances, you are inviting my wisdom and provision into your stewardship. So do not grow weary of speaking with me. Do not see it as a religious duty to check off a list. See it as the most vital and powerful part of your day. The moment you connect with your source, receive your strategy, and draw the strength you need to navigate the beautiful and complex plan I have for you. The world you live in screams for speed, for instant results, for immediate gratification. And I know this has seeped into your spirit. The waiting feels like a punishment. It feels like I have forgotten you. But my beloved, the world tells you that patience is a passive, powerless act of doing nothing. But in my kingdom, patience is one of the most powerful and active spiritual forces you can possess. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active, unwavering trust while I'm at work behind the scenes. It is the confident expectation that your goddess Faye full end is moving all things toward a glorious conclusion, and I give you this unbreakable promise: I am never late. My timing is always and in every case absolutely perfect. It is meticulously designed for your greatest good and my highest glory. Your haste is born of fear and your own limited understanding. Your impatience is a symptom of doubt, but true patience is the beautiful fruit of a faith that rests in my infinite wisdom. My word tells you to let patience have its perfect work, that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Do you see that patience? Is that even tool used to complete you? In the season of waiting, I am doing a work in you that could not be done any other way. I'm building a depth of character in you that will be able to sustain the weight of the blessing that is coming. I am teaching you to find your joy in men, not just in my gifts. Remember this divine principle. While you are waiting, I am not only preparing the destination for you, but I am preparing you for the destination. If I gave you the promise now, you would not be ready to handle it. So I command you in love, embrace the season of waiting. Do not fight against it. Do not curse the delay. See it for what it is, the sacred appointed time of preparation, because every moment you wait with faith is an investment in your own maturity and a profound act of worship that delights my heart. Trust my timing is perfect. You long talk know the grand design, the full blueprint for your life. You ask me to show you the end of the story so you can walk with certainty, but that is not my way, my child. For if you knew the entire journey, you would be tempted to walk by your own sight and not by faith in me. The light I provide is not a brilliant floodlight that illuminates the entire path from beginning to end. It is a humble lantern held in your own hand that gives you just enough light for the next few steps. And some call on your life is not for a single grand act of obedience in the future. My call is for your simple, trusting obedience in the one small step that is right in front of you today. The grand design is not revealed in a vision. It is revealed one act of faithful obedience at a time. You must not despise the day of small beginnings. Do not discount the importance of the mundane unseen tasks I place before you, for your faithfulness in the small things is the very thing that qualifies you for greater assignments in my kingdom. When I prompt you to speak a word of encouragement to a friend who is struggling, that is the step when I call you to manage your finances with integrity even when it's hard. That is the step when I ask you to forgive someone who has hurt you. That is the step. These small acts of obedience are the foundational stones upon which I build a great work. Your simple quiety, small prompting in your heart is what moves mountains in the spiritual realm. Obedience is the key that unlocks the next door in your divine setup. You will not understand the why behind every step. You will not see where it is leading, but you must trust that the one who is calling you to take the step is good and wise, so stop worrying about 5 years from now. Be faithful today. Take the step that is before you, and the grand design will take care of itself. The world is loud. Your life is chaotic. The voices of fear, of expectation, of criticism, and of your own inner anxiety are shouting for your attention. And in the middle of this storm of noise, you are trying to hear me. I want to show you how. Remember my prophet Elijah. He stood on the mountain waiting for me. A great wind tore the mountains apart, but I was not in the wind. After the wind came a powerful earthquake, but I was not in the ear. The quake after the earthquake came a raging fire, but I was not in the fire. And after the fire, there came agent the whisper, a still small voice. And that is where I was, my child. You keep looking for me in the loud, dramatic, chaotic circumstances of your life. You expect my guidance to come as a thunderclap, but more often than not I am speaking in the gentle whisper that follows the storm. Therefore, to hear me, you must intentionally quiet your soul. The noise of the world and the frantic spinning of your own thoughts can easily drown me out. So you must create a crisp, in your day for silence. Turn off the television, put down your phone. Find a quiet place, even if only for 5 minutes, and simply still your body, still your mind, still your emotions. And in that stillness, listen. Do not come with your list of demands. Come with an open and listening heart. I want you to learn to recognize the sound of my voice. Here is how you will know it is me. My voice never brings fear or condemnation. It never brings anxiety or confusion. My voice always brings a deep, settled peace. It brings clarity. It brings wisdom. It brings gentle correction. It brings profound comfort and unshakable strength. The enemy shouts, the world shouts, your fears shout, but I whisper. So create the silence to hear my whisper today. That is where you will find your direction. You have learned how to listen for my whisper. The chaos is fading, and you can feel the stillness. In this quiet space, I'm about to reveal the greatest prize of this entire journey. To close your heart to my voice. Now would be like preparing a room for a guest and then leaving before he arrives. It grieves me when my children are content with my principles, but do not stay for my person. So stay a little longer. Let me show you what it means for me to be with you. My child, after all, we have spoken of the detours, the trials, the waiting, the lessons, but I want to bring you to the very center of it all. I want to reveal the ultimate purpose, the core reason behind every part of your divine setup. The ultimate goal is not a better job. It is not a healed body. It is not a perfect family or life free of trouble. Those things may be blessings along the way, but they are not the prize. The ultimate purpose of everything I do and everything I allow in your life is to draw you closer to me. The prize is my presence, for this is the great unshakable covenant promise I have made to you. A promise I have sworn by my own name and cannot break. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Read those words again and let them sink from your head into your heart. Never, you are never ever alone in your trial. I am not a distant God, watching your suffering from afar. When you walk through the fire of affliction, I am walking right there with you. When you are in the boat assessed by the storm, I am sitting right there beside you. When your heart is broken, I am closer than your very burr. Holding the pieces together, you do not need to pray for me to come to you, because I am already there. Your prayer is simply the act of you becoming aware of my presence that has never left. My presence is your true reward, it is your true inheritance, it is your true home. And in my presence there is a fullness of joy that can coexist even with deep sorrow. In my presence there is a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that can guard your heart and mind even in the middle of chaos. So I invite you now in this very moment, best still close your eyes and feel mine. Earnest, feel the warmth of my love, the strength of my arm around you. Breathe it in, for this, my beloved, is the anchor for your soul. This is the unchanging center of your entire journey. I am with you always. You say you are being tested, my child, and your voice is heavy with dread, as if I are a student facing an exam. You are destined to fail, but I want you to see this with my eyes. I want you to understand the purpose of a test from your Heavenly Father. Every test you face is a glorious opportunity for a triumphant faith. I am not testing you to discover your breaking point or to catch you in a mistake. I know your heart completely. I am allowing this test to prove to you and to all of the unseen world the genuine and priceless quality of your trust in me. It is your moment to shine. It is your opportunity to graduate to a new level of strength and authority. And I give you this unbreakable promise. I will not allow you to be tested beyond what you can bear with my help. I know your limits far better than you do, and I will never push you beyond them. In fact, with every single test I am simultaneously providing the way of escape, or the strength to endure, so look for it. The way of escape is not always a removal of the problem. Sometimes it is a sudden insight, a new perspective that changes everything. Sometimes it is a timely word of encouragement from a friend that gives you the strength to stand for one more day. Sometimes it is a wave of my supernatural peace that will over you in your moment of greatest anxiety. I am always providing what you need to pass the test with flying colors, and your victory in this trial will become a banner of my faithfulness, a testament that other people will look to when they face their own battles. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not a pawn in some cosmic game. You are me, beloved child, an overcomer, and through the power of my Son who resides in you, you are a victor. So when the next test comes, do not shrink back in fear. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and say with confidence, my God is with me. This is my opportunity to triumph. My beloved, your life is a canvas, and I am the master artist painting a magnificent portrait upon it. And the subject of this masterpiece is my glory. You have wondered what your ultimate purpose is in this life. It is this, that your journey, your story, your very being would become a showcase. For my goodness, my power and my love, others will look at how you navigated your deepest pain, how you overcame your greatest obstacle, how you showed grace when you were wronged, and they will be compelled to give praise to me, your Father in heaven. For my glory is not an abstract concept. It is made tangible through your life. My power is displayed most brilliantly in your weakness. My wisdom is showcased when you make a choice that defies worldly logic but is rooted in my truth. My love is seen in the way you forgive the unforgivable. My faithfulness is proven in your testimony of how I brought you through the storm. You must understand this entire divine setup. All the twists and turns and trials were designed with this ultimate goal in mind, to bring the maximum glory to my name through your life. This is not for my ego. It is for the sake of a broken world that is desperate to know if there is a God who is both good and powerful. Your life is my answer to their question. When I am lifted up through the story of your life, I will draw all people to myself. They will see in you. You are becoming a mirror, my child, and the struggle you endure are the polishing cloths I use to wipe away the dust and grime of this world, so that your life can reflect my divine light more clearly into the darkness. For your purpose is not small. It is cosmic, it is eternal. You are a vessel chosen to carry and display the glory of the King of the universe. My child, your perspective is often limited to this present moment. The struggle you are in feels all-consuming, the pain feels permanent and heavy, but I want to lift your eyes from the temporary landscape of this earth and give you a glimpse of eternal reality. My word promises that the slight and momentary troubles are achieving for you an eternal weight of glory that far outweighs them all. Let those words sink deep into your soul. That problem that feels so heavy it might crush you, in the light of eternity I call it light. That season of suffering that feels like it will never end on the timeline of forever, I call it momentary. I want you to imagine the heavenly scale on one side. Place every tear you have ever cried. Place your deepest heartache, your most painful loss, your most frustrating trial, and that side. Off the scale feels unimaginably heavy right now. But on the other side, I'm placing a weight of glory, a glass so brilliant, so filled with a joy you cannot yet comprehend, that it makes all of your earthly troubles seem like a single grain of sand on the shore of eternity. This is not a mere consolation prize. Your present struggles are actively achieving this for you. They are producing it. They are preparing you for it. Every time you choose to trust me in your pain, you are adding to that weight of glory. Every moment you persevere in faith, you are investing in your eternal reward. So I command you with all my love, fix your eyes not on what is seen, for it is temporary and fading. Fix your eyes on what is unseen, for it is eternal and unshakable. The difficulties of this life are not the final story. They are merely the short prelude, the preparation for the splendors of your true home and your true reward. This entire divine setup on earth is but a brief introduction to the divine welcome you will receive in heaven, where I myself will wipe every tear from your eyes. My beloved child, we have journeyed far in this conversation. I have pulled back the curtain and shown you the purpose in your pain, the pain in your problems, and the promise in your positioning. And now, as we draw this moment to a close, I want to leave you with the final, ultimate, unshakable truth. This battle you find yourself in is not a battle you might win. It is a victory that has already been secured before the foundations of the world were laid. Your victory was accomplished by my Son on the cross. I have already overcome the world. And because you are in me and I am in you, you share completely and eternally in that victory. The final chapter, Fire story has already been written by my own hand. It does not end in maybe, it does not end in shame or defeat. It ends in absolute triumph. It ends in joy. It ends with you safely and gloriously in my loving arms. Therefore, this is how I want you to live. Live not from a place of fear, fighting for a victory you hope to achieve. Live from a place of profound peace and confidence, fighting from a victory that has already been won. The enemy of your soul will rage, he will lie. He may think he's winning a battle here and there, but you must know this, I have already won the war. I say defeated foe, so I give you your final commission, your ultimate marching orders for the rest of your days. Walk forward in confidence. Walk forward in the assurance of your guaranteed victory. Your path does not lead to uncertainty. It leads directly to me. It leads to the unveiling of the glorious masterpiece I have made of your life. It leads home into an eternity of joy that will make aloft this seem like a distant dream. Walk on, my precious one, your triumph is assured, my child. You now walk forward in the confidence of a victory that was secured before Ema began. As you walk this path of guaranteed triumph, I am commissioning you to leave a trail of light for others still lost in the battle. You have felt the assurance of my promise, and your heart burns to share it. This is how your gift is more than support. It is a trumpet blast of hope into the life of someone who feels defeated, letting them know the war has already been won. I declared I have overcome the world, and your act of faith through super thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link below is your powerful amen to me truth. This moment of revelation is your point. Mento act, as you plant this seed of victory, I will release over your life a double portion of the peace that guards your heart and mind. Now declare your trust, plant your banner of faith, give and partner with me in sharing this glorious news. My beloved, you have heard my heart for you. You have listened as I have pulled back the curtain to reveal the beautiful and intricate purpose woven through your days. You now know that your life is not a collection of random accidents, but a majestic and intentional divine setup designed by a God who loves you infinitely. The confusion, the detours, the trials, all are threads in a masterpiece only I can see in its fullness. Now I invite you to tell these truths within your own spirit. This is a holy moment, a chance to move from passively hearing to actively believing. Let your voice and your hands join the chorus of faith in the space below this message. I want you to make a declaration. This is not for I know your heart already. This is for you. It is an act of faith, a stake in the ground, your personal flag of trust planted for all the world to see. When you write these words, you are stepping out of agreement with fear and into agreement with my perfect plan. So I invite you now. Declare with boldness. I walked into a divine setup, and I trust the weaver. Your declaration will be more than just words. It will be a weapon against doubt and a powerful anchor for your own soul, and it will become a beacon of light for others. Someone else who feels lost, just as you have felt, will ready your words of faith and feel a flicker of hope ignite within them. Your trust will help awaken trust in another. So go now, my child. Make your declaration and let the heavens rejoice as you step fully into your story. Amen. If you're moved to respond right now, click the link below to give a super thanks. Join as a member or leave your testimony via PayPal. Your act of faith becomes the next person's miracle. Thank you for partnering to carry this message. Amen.